Ying is a deadbeat loser who has no dough and no baddies. However, when he saves a magical girl by kissing her, he accidentally gains half of her powers, but he has to keep clapping her to get stronger. It all starts on a night where Ying is doing his job as a security guard, when he spots a girl named Mizu floating in the sky. She's in the middle of performing something called the Heavenly Tribulation, but when Ying steps in, her focus slips. Due to this, a bolt of lightning crashes down on her, sending her tumbling to the ground. At first, Ying wants to walk away, not wanting to catch a case when helping her. But after thinking it through, he decides to do the right thing. He kneels beside her hot and creamy body and gives her mouth-to-mouth, causing a strange light to burst from them into the sky. She wakes up to Ying kissing her, and without thinking, she gives him the Will Smith special. And Ying jumps back, trying to explain that he sacrificed his first kiss to save her life. However, she tells him that it is also her first kiss, and she wants to smack him again, but she stops and walks away, leaving Ying traumatized. As she walks away, her anger slowly fades, knowing that at least Ying didn't witness her heavenly tribulation. But suddenly, a strange weak sensation runs through her body, and she knows that something is wrong. Meanwhile, Ying is asleep, and around him, blue energies start appearing, and his furniture starts floating like he accidentally summoned a demon by mentioning this dude's name. The next morning, he wakes up feeling amazing and sharper, like he spent a night with Mia Khalifa. While relaxing at the park, he spots the same girl he kissed last night, Mizu, walking around the city while a chopped-looking simp is trying to propose to her to go on a date, begging her to let him lick her feet cheese. Suddenly, an eyeball pops up, wanting to witness the new cultivator, so it creates an accident by dropping a whole billboard on an innocent girl. Ying quickly notices it and runs to save her. As he reaches out to grab her from a distance, he suddenly activates his cultivator power to hold the billboard from falling before collapsing. Mizu notices what he did, and the next thing Ying knows is that he wakes up in a hotel room, cuffed to the bed. Suddenly, Mizu shows up in front of him, looking at him like she wants to get screwed, and gets on top of him, saying that they should break the bed that night. However, when she notices that his blicky didn't go stiffy, she stops, changes her attitude, and tells Ying that she wants to take what he stole from her. Ying states that he didn't steal anything. Mizu informs him that the reason he saved the girl from the billboard was by using her power. She claims herself to be a hidden cultivator, and when Ying laughs at her for spouting nonsense, she almost takes his head off with a lightning blade, making him believe her words. She then offers him two options: either die under her black night and get his body parts sold on the black market, or cultivate and become immortal with her. Later, on an elevator with Mizu, Ying stares out at the glowing city below, amazed by how gorgeous it looks with the lights surrounding it. But Mizu quickly cuts in, telling him not to be fooled, and says that what he's seeing is only the surface, and the real world underneath is full of greed, lies, and darkness. However, even after hearing her pessimistic take, Ying believes that even if the world is dark, he'd rather focus on the light and use his cultivation to help people who are still trapped in the shadows like a hero. Mizu gives him an unimpressed look and says it's not as simple as he thinks. When the elevator doors open, they step out onto the rooftop of a tall skyscraper for their training. Mizu turns to Ying and asks him if he wants to grow his power fast or slow. Feeling excited and confident, Ying says that he wants it fast. Hearing that, Mizu smirks, points toward the edge building, and tells him to make a leap of faith, even suggesting he do a 360. Ying is shocked to hear that, and Mizu explains that this method is the best way to grow his power, as when people are close to death, their true power often wakes up, and if he truly doesn't want to die, his instincts will kick in and his abilities will appear. Ying asks what happens if he fails, and Mizu nonchalantly says that he will just wake up in a cold-blind game. She adds that if he refuses, other cultivators will come after him, and it's a guarantee that he will die against them, so either way he's out of luck, so he might as well take the leap of faith. Realizing he doesn't have much of a choice, Ying mutters that this must be her weird way of getting revenge, then slowly walks to the edge, his legs shaking. Just as he's about to jump, Mizu walks at him and pushes him off. As he falls, he desperately tries to summon the same power that he used before to save the girl from the billboard, but nothing comes out, and panic starts to creep into him as he realizes that Ace is waiting on the other side. His vision starts to go dark until he sees Mizu diving after him, and hope returns for a second. She catches up, wraps her arms around him, and says she'll die with him. Ying hugs her tightly as they fall together, but then suddenly, light bursts from his back, shaping itself into wings. He swoops upward, slowing their fall before landing gracefully on the ground, and then soaring back into the air, flying like he's been doing it forever. Amazed and rizzed up, Mizu blushes, seeing him, but then Ying mentions how he can now just fly anywhere with his new wings. That angers Mizu, so she summons her own wings and yanks him down to a building, sending them both crashing. She scolds him harshly for his foolish mindset, explaining that cultivators like them have been living in the darkness their whole life to avoid getting found. And Ying's mindset of wanting to show off and use his powers for leisure can get them found, and they end up dead. So Mizu chokes him, saying that weaklings like Ying is better dead, but stops herself, and says that he should never expose himself or other cultivators will hunt him. Far away, in a candlelit hall, a powerful master senses Ying's awakening energy. He orders his subordinate to find the boy and test his strength. But if Ying is proven to be weak, she can just slaughter him. The next day, Ying and Mizu walk through the busy city streets when the simp from the other day pops up, still begging Mizu to go out with him. Mizu turns to him and says that she can't because she just went 10 full rounds of hot yoga with Ying in a hotel. Hearing that, the guy turns jealous and charges at Ying for clapping Mizu's cheeks before him. But before he can touch him, Mizu smacks him across the face, causing him to fall. Mizu then threatens to step on his blueberries and states that only she can hit her boyfriend, leaving the simp speechless and jealous. Later, Mizu and Ying sit down to talk, and she finds out that Ying is still using the old phone your grandpa used to goon, meaning they can't contact each other. Ying says that they can just send messages, but Mizu rolls her eyes, grabs his phone, and hands him a brand new phone so he can contact her with WeChat, which touches Ying so much he starts tearing up. Then, Ying curiously asks Mizu why she hasn't clapped him dead if strong cultivators hunt down weaker cultivators. Mizu explains that it's because he's absorbed most of her spirit energy, and if she takes his life, that power of hers will vanish with him. However, she adds that it could change if they cultivate. Hearing that, Ying channels his inner Rizology and asks her if they can just cultivate that night, and Mizu's face turns red. He quickly says that he's joking and walks away, but Mizu grabs his arm, holds it, and says that they should take it slow. But in that moment, Ying smiles and realizes that he starts to fall for her. Meanwhile, Yui is on the move, slaughtering other cultivators before getting to her main course, Ying. The next day, Yui walks through the busy city streets, looking sharply at every dude there, hunting down the man with the rare spirit energy she's been told to find. However, she quickly realizes that it would take forever to locate him the normal way, so she opens the WeChat application on her phone and uploads a few selfies of herself looking like she's worth $2 for an hour, while secretly infusing those pictures with her dancing seduction spell, a charm strong enough to make any man fall for her instantly. But her gooning tactic backfires, and one by one, all the men she matches and meets up with are nothing but sweaty, awkward guys with zero spirit energy. Every time they show up drooling and wanting to slip their hot dog in her buns, she knocks them all out. After a few hours, the sidewalk is full of unconscious gooners and Yui is pissed, wondering why the real one doesn't show up. Then she pauses, thinking that maybe the guy is not interested in women and is more interested in gobbling glizzies, which explains why her spell didn't work. So Yui decides to change her plans and go to a different direction. At night, in the small security guard dorm, Ying lies on his bunk bed watching an Ancestral video when he notices his fat and sweaty senior Lai suddenly stand up. The guy blushes as he chats with what he calls a cute soy boy with massive dingling on his computer. And then, almost like he's hypnotized, he leaves the room in a trance. Ying realizes that something feels off about this and worries that Lee might be walking into a trap where he loses his kidneys. Ying decides to follow him quietly from behind. Then, Lee walks through the streets like a sleepwalker until he stops under a streetlight, where Yui, who is the soy boy in disguise, is waiting. Yui studies him, unimpressed with his pot noodle and beer-filled belly, and when she checks his spirit flow, she finds that this slob doesn't have a single drop of spirit energy. She turns away from him, but still in her spell. Lee begs her to make him call her daddy, but without hesitation, Yui swings a lightning-fast punch, sending him flying through the air like a ragdoll. Ying bursts forward, wings flaring open, and catches him in midair. Yui's eyes widen, and then a slow smile forms on her lips, realizing that this is her real target. Meanwhile, Lee is still under the spell and looks up at Ying, wanting him to make him squeal, while Ying is horrified as he realizes that Lee wants him to go full freaky on him. Suddenly, Yui snaps her fingers, releasing Lee from the spell, and Lee goes back to normal, but is confused why Ying is hugging him. He thinks Ying is sitting on him, so he offers to show Ying the technique he learned while in prison with Diddy.
Oh, hell no!
But Ying quickly runs away from the situation. But before he can get far, Ying is struck by Yui's spell, causing him to turn into one of her simps who wants to gulp down her bathwater. Later, Ying finds himself on a rooftop with Yui under the moonlight. She waves her hand, sealing off the area with spirit restrictions so that no one can sense their energy. Still under her spell, Ying proposes to Yui with some roast beef in his pockets, even attempting to feed her the beef with a mouth-to-mouth, but seeing the fish mouth. Yui is disgusted, so she punches him, sending him flying, and then she releases him from the spell. When Ying comes to his senses, he questions what is happening. She tells him that he proposed to her, and that it is time for him to die. She summons her flaming blade, ready to take his head off, and Ying realizes that Muzi was right, and that cultivators hunt down new cultivators like him. He quickly distracts her and flies away from her, but with the power gap, Yui easily catches him and yeets him back down to the ground. However, she slams him so hard that Ying loses his pants, and he calls her a creep for that. Disgusted by his fat glizzy, she raises her sword, but lightning strikes between them, and Mizu shows up furious. She orders him to put his pants back on, and Yui laughs at her for having to save her boyfriend. Yui reveals that Ying proposed to her, and that he did so because Yui is prettier than Mizu is, which annoys her. Ying tries to explain himself, but Mizu tells him to kneel, shut up, and talk after they send off Yui to the Shadow Realm. After 10 minutes of watching the two girls arguing, Ying tells the girls that they shouldn't fight over him. But the girls get insulted, and without a single word, they team up and punch him, saying that they were not fighting for him, knocking him out cold. He falls to the ground like a rag doll, but the teamwork ends quickly as the tension between them rises again. Before the battle between the two baddies begins, Mizu speaks to Ying through her mind telepathically, explaining that from now on, they'll communicate this way. Yui studies them carefully, sensing their power levels, and almost laughs out loud when she realizes that Ying is only at the middle stage of Kui condensation, while Mizu barely reaches the early stage of foundation establishment. The discovery makes Yui furious, seeing these weaklings dare to release their energy in public as if they were real cultivators. Mizu's voice echoes in Ying's head, reminding him of one of her old lessons about cultivation. She once explained that the gap between each level was huge, almost impossible to overcome without a miracle or a rare artifact. She had warned him never to face someone stronger without a special weapon, because if he did, he'd already be as good as dead. Just then, Yui attacks, and her bloodlust fills the air, shaking the rooftop. Mizu realizes instantly how bad this is, as Yui's strength has already reached the late stage of foundation establishment, which is not just a level higher than her, but an entirely different world. She knows that even if Ying helps, they won't stand a chance, but Mizu refuses to back down. She draws her sword and rushes forward, clashing blades. Yui's fiery sword sets the air ablaze as she releases a massive wave of flames. Mizu disappears in an instant, reappearing above Yui with glowing eyes, sending Yui crashing into the ground like a meteor. Through the telepathic link, Mizu orders Ying to run, promising to catch up later. But Yui rises again, barely hurt and angrier than ever. They clash again, and the shockwaves crack the ground. Yui overpowers Mizu easily, grabbing her by the throat and throwing her high into the sky before slamming her back down. Even then, Yui doesn't stop, and she lifts her sword, charging it with even greater power. Mizu tries to defend herself, but Yui's strike breaks straight through her barrier, sending her flying. Meanwhile, Ying runs as fast as he can, his heart pounding out of fear. But then it hits him that Mizu won't survive, as the difference in their power is too big, and she is fighting a battle she can't win. Far away, Yui's master finishes trapping another soul, and surrounded by glowing spirits, he smiles coldly, knowing that once Yui returns to him, he plans to drink her blood and take her energy, giving him the power-up he needs to reach the next level. Back on the rooftop, Mizu struggles to her feet, refusing to give up. Yui walks toward her slowly, mocking her for how her little boy toy ran away and left her to die. But Mizu tells Yui that she will never understand what loyalty means, because someone like her only believes in strength. The words hit Yui hard and full of anger. She raises her sword to finish Mizu off, but when she strikes, the blade never reaches her, and Mizu opens her eyes. She sees Ying taking the full impact of Yui's attack and gets stabbed from the back. Tears fill her eyes as she remembers her mother's old words about how the man that is meant for her would be someone who protects her no matter what. And in that moment, Mizu realizes that Ying is that man. They cling to each other, exhausted and bleeding, believing it's their last moment. Yui watches them with disgust before kicking Ying aside and knocking Mizu out cold. When Ying opens his eyes again, he's somewhere else entirely. He sees that the place is like the border between life and death, and there stands a tall man who looks like the Temu Inuyasha, introducing himself as Chuanzi. Ying stares in shock as Chuanzi summons a massive blade, the Black Sky, and demonstrates its power. Ying recognizes it immediately as Mizu's sword, and Chuanzi studies him carefully, sensing something familiar in his energy. He notes that Ying carries the same power source as him, but isn't of his bloodline. so he thinks that Ying is connected to one of his descendants. The mention of descendants makes Ying realize that Chuanzi is Mizu's ancestor, so he takes a big risk and introduces himself as Mizu's husband and baby daddy. Chuanzi laughs at his words and waves his hand, creating glowing orbs called the Hunshin beads. He gives them to Ying, explaining that they contain something that might help him on his path. But he warns that his energy is running out, so he can only send Ying back once. Before Ying can ask how to use them, Chuanzi disappears completely. Back in the real world, Mizu kneels beside Ying's lifeless body, but suddenly, light bursts out from the sky, turning back time just before he dies, and Ying appears before Yui, standing tall, glowing with new power. Gently holding Mizu in his arms, he turns to face Yui again. Yui is shaken by the huge wave of spirit power coming from him, unable to believe how quickly he's growing stronger by the second, almost like he unlocked a Super Saiyan form. Fear creeps in as she realizes she can't beat him with her weak current level. And if this keeps going, she might not make it out alive. She even starts to wonder if his power could surpass her own master's. Desperate, she calls out her fire whip and attacks with everything she has, but Ying easily destroys her weapon with just a single word. The power in his voice is so overwhelming that she freezes in shock. Her legs give out, and she collapses, her prized weapon broken, and her confidence shattered. She decides her only way out is to jump from the roof and reunite with my boy Michael Jackson, believing that it's easier than facing the shame of losing. But Ying quickly saves her, scolds her for being dramatic, and says that it was merely a fight and not something worth dying over. He points out that she could just run away instead of throwing her life away. When they return to the rooftop, she pushes him away and glares at him, angry and embarrassed. She storms off into the night. Standing beside him, Mizu tells him to let her be, saying that everyone has their own pain, and it's not his job to fix everything. But before he can relax, she grabs his ear and demands to know where he suddenly got his plot armor from. Instead of answering her, Ying tries to laugh it off, saying he just wanted to look cool, but she doesn't buy it. With a sharp smack to the head, she knocks some sense into him and drags him away to a hotel room for some privacy. Inside the room, Mizu questions him again about his strange rise in spirit power. Ying avoids the question, saying that he went full fairy tale and used the power of friendship, but Mizu already clocks that he's trying to deflect, and says that his ability to absorb her spirit power shouldn't be possible in the first place. So she decides to test it by herself, starting by tying him up to the bed and climbing on top of him. Mizu says that this is a Lee family method called co-cultivation, and she presses her lips to his, allowing their spirit energies to connect and flow between them. Ying's mind goes blank as their powers merge, linking yin and yang in perfect balance. Their consciousness drifts into another realm, where Ying finds himself in a vast glowing field. He feels Mizu's energy intertwine with his, and fragments of her memories flash through his mind. As he walks forward, he sees a locked door that bursts open when he touches it. Inside, he sees a single drop of blood fall from a strange flower. Then a younger version of Mizu appears before him, her face full of sadness. As she reaches toward him, the world around them collapses, and they both fall into darkness. Meanwhile, Mizu explores Ying's memories, moving through the depths of his spirit, worried she might find the freaky stuff he imagines to help him goon. The force drags her into a nightmare from her past, where she sees dead bodies scattered across the ground and the man who ruined her life standing before her. As he reaches for her, she screams. Ying wakes up in that same dream, as flames roar all around him, and he hears someone crying for help. He rushes toward the sound and sees a man standing calmly above the fire. A wounded woman begs for mercy below, but before Ying can act, the man slaughters without hesitation. Both Ying and Mizu jolt awake at the same time, gasping for breath. Mizu bursts into tears, and seeing the dark past she had to endure, Ying silently promises to protect her no matter what. After calming down, Mizu explains that her family once had 34 descendants living in the modern world, but on that bloody night, all of them except her were wiped out because of their family treasure, the black sky. Holding her necklace tightly, she vows to take revenge one day, believing that with black sky in her possession, she can defeat that man. Ying asks about the strength of her enemy, offering to help her fight, but she shakes her head, explaining that the man is already in the early nascent soul stage, supported by 6 elders at the independent soul level. She adds that fighting that man now would be certain death, but Ying insists he'll stand by her when the time comes. His determination makes her smile faintly, and she surprises him with a quick kiss on the cheek, leaving him speechless and red-faced. He's about to finally tell her the truth about his powers awakening, but she stops him and says that she didn't sense any darkness in his spirit, but only warmth and kindness that reminds her of her mom, so she doesn't have to know. But then, she tells him to leave as she wants to sleep, and on his walk to his security guard post, he realizes that he has lost the Hunshin beads, the powerful artifact given to him by Chuanzi. Panic floods him, knowing he can't survive long in this world without them. But when he goes back to his room, his panic fades instantly. As Yui is lying on his bed, looking like a full-on dessert, teasingly calling him her darling, Ying asks why she is here, and Yui asks Ying for a favor, but the way she looks makes it almost impossible for him not to turn into spurting goo. Her silky nightgown glows softly under the light, and he struggles not to stare. She explains that she doesn't have anywhere to stay and wants to sleep in his bed. Ying freezes, unsure what to do or where he's supposed to sleep instead. Suddenly, Lee jumps in eagerly, smiling like an idiot, and offers to share his bed with Ying so they can snuggle through the night. Without thinking, Ying refuses, saying he'd rather sleep on the cold floor than risk having a sore throat in the morning. The next morning, chaos fills the street as lots of sweaty, ugly dudes like you are still affected by Yui's dancing seduction spell, and they line up in front of Yui, begging to lick her toes. Yui grumbles about how she only seems to attract the worst kind of men, and things get worse when a guy speeds in with his car, almost hitting someone, and the guy reveals himself to be the same simp who was proposing to Mizu. But then, the guy notices Mizu walking by and instantly forgets about Yui. He runs up to Mizu, asking her to give him a chance, even offering to let her step on him. But Mizu doesn't even flinch as she shuts him down, saying he's too ugly, and that if he ever wants a chance, he needs to prove he can protect and care for her for life. Then she adds that Yui might be a better match for him. Yui rolls her eyes, saying she's not interested in weak boys who can't even protect themselves. Another guy steps forward, claiming he's the one for her, but Yui knocks him out with a single punch and points straight at Ying, declaring that he's the one she wants instead. Ying is confused by what's going on and approaches Mizu, but Mizu quickly claims him, saying that they should watch a movie together. Before he can react, Yui grabs his arm and says that she would even watch a Mia Khalifa movie with him. The two girls glare at each other and start pulling him from both sides like a prize in a tug-of-war, while the rejected guys watch in despair. That evening at the cinema, things only get worse. The girls sit on either side of Ying, completely ignoring the movie. They keep whispering, arguing, and claiming that they have the best throat suitable for Ying, all the while Ying is stuck like your favorite stepsister. Suddenly, Yui kisses his cheek, and seeing that Mizu wants to kiss his lips, but Ying dodges it, causing both girls to kiss, giving the audience behind them a show of a lifetime. After the film is finished, the girls fight over his jacket, causing him to fall to the ground, wondering why this is happening to him. The next day, Ying decides to make things right. He carries a gift box for Mizu, but before he can reach her, Zhao, the rich simp from before, shows up with a group of smooth-brained, roid-head thugs, and Zhao orders them to beat up Ying and break his willy too. When they confront Ying, he quickly says that Johnny Sins is behind them, giving him space to run away. However, on his escape, Zhao's butler trips him, sending him and his gift for Mizu falling. The gang surrounds him, ready to strike, but Yui and Mizu are there to save him. The two baddies take them all out, one by one, like they're absolute bums, until the whole gang is out cold. Once the fight is over, Ying quickly grabs the gift and hands it to Miku. She opens it and gets confused when she sees that he bought her 2 chicken mittens. Ying quickly explains that this is his first time buying a gift for a girl, and he thought all girls would like something useful, while Yui watches from a distance, hiding her jealousy. Meanwhile, on a rooftop nearby, Yui's master watches everything unfold. After that awkward gift exchange, Mizu and Ying walk side by side, and she's delighted by the gift she just received from Ying. But then they notice Yui walking ahead alone, and Ying can't help but see his old, lonely, isolated self in her. He tells Mizu he wants to talk to her, and Mizu agrees, giving him a small nod of encouragement. Without hesitation, Ying jogs over to catch up with Yui, determined to lift her spirits. He reaches out to Yui and offers her to be his friend, but Yui feels insulted and slaps his hand away, telling him bluntly that if he hadn't gotten that massive power boost yesterday, she would have already sent both him and Mizu to the afterlife without thinking twice. Then she admits that the only reason she ever got close to him was because of his powerful energy, and that he was someone she considers powerful enough to protect her. Despite her coldness, Ying simply smiles and tells her not to worry, saying he'll protect her anyway, even as friends, but that only makes Yui suspicious. She asks if Mizu is the one who sent him to riz her up and screw with her emotions, but Ying shakes his head and tells her that she completely misunderstood who Mizu is as a person. Ying explains that he's been inside Mizu's spiritual world and saw the truth of how she has been carrying the crushing weight of her family's tragic deaths all alone. He says Mizu might seem strong and untouchable, but deep down, she's just as lonely as they are. Yui listens in silence, and then admits that she always thought Mizu was just an arrogant, spoiled rich girl who looked down on everyone. But Ying explains that Mizu's pride is only a mask she wears to protect herself, and that he is the only one she trusts enough to lean on, the only one who's seen her real pain. Yui suddenly understands why Ying is so determined to protect Mizu, and it's because he knows what it's like to be broken and alone too. Touched, she asks why he's being so kind to her, and he simply promises that he'll protect her as well. His sincerity overwhelms her, and she blushes before running away. Just then, Mizu walks up to him, teasing him about making her jealous from seeing his talk with Yui. Later that night, somewhere far away, a couple sneaks off to a quiet spot, wanting to get freaky and sticky. But before things can go any further, Yui's master appears out of nowhere. With a terrifying calmness, he orders them to stop immediately. When the young man tries to defend his girlfriend, the old monster simply lifts him off the ground and snaps his neck like a twig. The woman screams, but he silences her too, unleashing his dark power. As the night grows colder, he mutters to himself that the fruit he has cultivated for so many years, Yui, is now ripe and ready for harvest. After dragging the two corpses to his hidden lair, Yui arrives, desperately trying to act calm while planning her escape. He asks her about her mission to defeat Ying. Yui lowers her head and admits she failed after Ying's power has grown too much, and she couldn't defeat him no matter how hard she tried. To her surprise, her master doesn't seem angry. Instead, he grins and says it doesn't matter, for he has already reached another breakthrough after consuming the blood of the two lovers. In 10 days, he promises he will erase Ying and Mizu completely and absorb their blood to ascend to the late stage of core formation. He then orders Yui to distract them until that day and make sure they never learn about his existence. That night, after Yui called for him, Ying searches deep into the forest, calling out her name. Yui appears, dressed up like she's ready to go to Pound Town, and Ying folds, asking why she called him out dressed like that. Yui ignores the question and slowly begins to tempt him with her twin puppies, while Ying panics and covers his face to avoid seeing her pepperonas. Yui asks him if he wants to tackle her from the inside, but he shakes his head, saying that he can't betray Mizu, no matter how tempting the situation is. And jarred by his rejection, Yui summons her weapon and launches a series of fierce attacks. Ying dodges every strike but refuses to fight back. She screams at him to use his spirit energy, but he says he can't raise his hand against a friend. Extremely frustrated, she stabs him with her blade, but he doesn't even flinch, knowing she doesn't want to hurt him. That breaks something inside her, and she starts crying, demanding to know why he won't fight her. He gently pats her head and tells her his spirit energy exists to protect her. Just then, Mizu arrives at the side of their embrace and teases him not to cheat on her. The two immediately jump apart, and Yui quickly regains her composure and warns them that even if she doesn't finish them, her master will. Ying insists that's exactly why they need her help, so they can stand against him together. But that's when Yui reveals the horrifying truth that her master sensed the release of their spirit energy during their battles, meaning he already knows how powerful they are. Ying and Mizu realize they've been baited from the start when her master used Yui to measure their strength and gather data for his next move. Yui adds that her master is on the verge of reaching the middle stage of core formation, and once he does, he'll be powerful enough to wipe them out effortlessly. Meanwhile, in the darkness of his lair, Yui's master finishes consuming the blood of the two lovers, but he tells himself that he still needs Ying and Mizu's blood to fulfill his full power. After hearing Yui's plans, Ying can't agree with her because it is against the moral code to try to attack their own master, and Mizu reminds Yui that her relationship with her master will be gone if she decides to engage in her plans. Yui explains her past when she meets her master for the first time. Years ago, while she was gathering wood for her trip, her parents gave her lunch and wished her good luck. Yui had a great relationship with her parents and that she started her journey. Then, she came across a group that started bullying her, but Yui remained calm and patient. One of them threw a rock at her, so Yui fought them all and knocked them to the ground. Because Yui's friend was the snake spirit, the group mocked her for accompanying a monster. Meanwhile, the snake spirit was chilling by herself when she sensed someone walking into her cave. But it was Yui, so she smiled because she was happy to see her. The snake spirit showed the cut on her back, and Yui brought medicine for her. After Yui applied the medicine, she gave the snake spirit her lunch. Yui wished the snake spirit to get well soon because she wanted her to turn into her human form, so she could show her to the moon and the people, proving she had a friend she truly loved. At that moment, Yui believed they would be friends forever, until one day, when Yui was walking down the village, she saw an old fortune teller, surprising everyone. The fortune teller tried to call her, but Yui had to feed the snake spirit, so she pretended not to hear him. While walking, Yui was suddenly surprised when the fortune teller told her that the snake spirit would take away everything she had. The fortune teller warned Yui to stay away from the snake spirit. But Yui went to the cave again, refusing to believe what the fortune teller said. Suddenly, she saw the cave was empty, so she went back to her village because she heard a loud noise coming from it. When Yui returned, she saw the villagers being eliminated by someone, so she rushed to find her parents. Yui was horrified when she found her parents protecting each other, but already dead. Yui immediately cried and saw the fortune teller dying, so she confronted him. The fortune teller told Yui that the snake spirit was the one who had attacked them before taking his final breath. After hearing his words, Yui blamed herself for everything she had done for the snake spirit. Filled with rage and grief, Yui vowed revenge. She decided to confront the snake spirit and cut it into pieces for what it had done to the village. Then, Yui arrived at the cave, but a random man suddenly walked outside. The man told Yui that she was throwing her life away, but admitted that he was too late to save them. He warned her that the snake spirit was dangerous at night and told her she was the last survivor of the village, so she had to live on. Yui tried to attack the man, but he easily blocked her strike. Then the man showed her a sword that could eliminate the snake spirit, and Yui immediately took it because she wanted to avenge her village. Following the snake's trail, Yui found the snake spirit injured. Yui demanded an explanation, but the snake spirit immediately tried to attack her. Then she hesitated, which scared Yui, so Yui stabbed her. Yui cried hysterically as the memories between her and the snake spirit flooded back. She left the snake spirit's body behind and was soon confronted by the man floating in the air. Yui realized he must have been an immortal, so she begged him to resurrect her village. The man told Yui that he couldn't do it because it was against the rules of heaven, but he offered to take her as his student so her pain would fade. Yui believed that if she became an immortal like him, she wouldn't feel pain anymore, but the man offered her a different path of becoming a cultivator, a being that didn't feel anything for anyone. From that day, Yui called the man her master and followed his training in cultivation. After years of training, Yui noticed that her master began using a kind of bloodthirsty fiend art to improve his cultivation level. She realized that her master was acting differently from how he looked at her, like she was his prey. Hearing that, Mizu realizes that Yui's master's true desire is to reach the late stage of core formation. Yang notices the master's terrifying aura and wonders just how powerful he truly is. Yui is ordered to find them, and now she has to decide quickly, because if they leave her master alone for too long, he could reach the late stage of core formation. Then, she reveals that her master will also take their spirit energy, which terrifies Ying, so he urges Mizu to leave and go somewhere far away so the master can't find them. Mizu likes his idea because she has always wanted a romantic holiday with him, but Yui becomes furious that they aren't taking the situation seriously and tells them that her master can find them easily. Hearing her words, Ying tells Mizu to give him all of her spirit energy because he has a feeling that he can eliminate Yui's master. He doesn't care if he dies, as long as it's for Mizu, which rises her up. Yui reminds Ying that the only way to leave the cultivator world is through death, which makes him wonder how they can escape from her master. Yui knows they can't run away from him, so she proposes that they attack him together. She tells them that they might have a chance to live if they work together to fight her master, even though she knows she will likely die soon, as her master is already close to reaching the late stage of core formation. Mizu warns Ying not to accept Yui's offer because she thinks it's a trap. But then Yui reveals that her master isn't in his late stage yet, so they can attack him while his guard is down. Mizu wonders how they can defeat him with just the three of them, so Yui reveals her master's weakness. She plans to trap her master, saying it's their best and only chance to eliminate him. Later, Ying and Mizu go to a hotel, where Mizu pushes him to the floor because she's angry that Ying decides to help Yui. Ying explains that his name was given to him by his father with the hope that his son would become a hero, and Mizu softens, understanding his feelings. She tells Ying they must increase their chances of winning. Holding his hands, she tells him that during their last co-cultivation, she saw a white light orb inside his consciousness world. She feels that he possesses a power beyond their understanding and wants them to draw it out to defeat Yui's master. Mizu explains that he has to use his blood, but warns him that the energy might be a weapon spirit, one that's dangerous because it has its own consciousness. However, if they can control it, they can wield it as a powerful weapon. Ying gets excited to bring it out because it might give them a chance to win, but Mizu doesn't want to risk it and fears that it could overtake his body and use him to do terrible things involving oiling up. Ying immediately jokes that he might get possessed, and the spirit will use him to do freaky things to Mizu, but she instantly scolds him to focus, reminding him it's his decision whether to release his weapon spirit or not. Ying insists that with his weapon spirit, they can help Yui, and if things go wrong, he'll be at peace because he has Mizu with him. furious that he's already decided. Mizu grabs his hand and gives him a small cut. Blood trickles down, and Mizu places her hand over his to summon his weapon spirit. Suddenly, a girl with green hair appears and Ying accidentally touches her milky melons in surprise. The girl calls him her master and says that she has a high cultivation level and can help them defeat Yui's master. However, she warns that he can only summon her for a short time since his level is still too low. Then she disappears as quickly as she appeared, and Ying immediately asks Mizu to co-cultivate again. But she refuses, thinking he prefers the spirit's melons to hers, and kicks him to the bathroom while she sleeps. At midnight, Ying tries to summon Ying's weapon spirit again, but can't because he has forgotten what to do. Then, Ying's weapon spirit's voice echoes in his mind, telling him to focus and not harm himself. The next day, Zhao appears, confronting him and demanding Mizu back. Ying refuses, so Zhao orders his friends to break his balls. Ying is nearly struck down, but Mizu and Yui arrive just in time to save him. Mizu and Yui attack Zhao's group, but the enemies dodge and trap them with binding spells. Ying is left alone, trying to fight back, but he is quickly knocked down and cornered. Suddenly, Ying's weapon spirit appears, saving Ying once again. He shouts for her to help Mizu and Yui, and Ying's weapon spirit cuts through their bindings before knocking down Zhao's friends with ease. Freed, Mizu unleashes her fury and easily defeats the attackers. Ying blushes as he looks at Ying's weapon spirit, which makes Yui and Mizu chase after him, calling him a playboy. What they don't realize is that Yui's master is watching them from afar, impressed, and he already plans to turn Yui and the others into sacrifices. Sometime later, Zhao meets Ying and the girls again, and when he sees that Ying now has a busty servant, he immediately tells his butler to get him one because he doesn't want to lose to Ying. Then, after Zhao's servant arrives, Ying is getting a massage from his weapon spirit. Yui and Mizu grow jealous, so Mizu quickly tells Zhao that she has no relationship whatsoever with Ying. Zhao cries like a wimp because a rich dude like him just got rejected by his dream girl, then accidentally slips on a rock and falls. While the butler checks on him, Mizu and Yui notice Ying enjoying his massage from his weapon spirit, which makes them even more jealous. Later, Ying and the girls go to a nearby hut, where Yui begins inspecting Ying's weapon spirit. She wonders where he got a weapon spirit with its own consciousness, since such spirits are rare and powerful. Ying only laughs, remembering that Xuanzi once warned him never to tell anyone about their encounter. So he lies, saying he received his powerful weapon from heaven. Yui then asks the weapon spirit if she has a name, but she doesn't respond because she is Ying's servant. Feeling awkward that he hasn't given her a name yet, Ying starts thinking. Yui suggests calling her Yanwen, meaning slave, but she still doesn't respond. Then Ying calls her Ling because she is a spirit. Ling smiles, liking the name, and Ying likes it too. After giving Ling her name, Yui leaves them to prepare her weapon for battle. Mizu reminds Ying to train more because they're going to fight for their lives, then leaves him with Ling, which embarrasses Ying since no one seems to have faith in him. After Mizu leaves, Ying tells Ling he's had enough of hiding behind women, and Ling tells him he has a good level but lacks combat skills. Then she opens a portal to another dimension that suddenly sucks them both in. Mizu sees Ling take Ying away and can only wish him luck, knowing Ling will train him harder than how Johnny Sins claps a hoe. Ling brings Ying inside the Huxin beads, and he's amazed to find a vast open space and glowing mushrooms inside what looks like a small orb. Ling explains that countless miraculous weapon spirits exist throughout the cultivation world, but she herself is an intelligent weapon spirit, created by her original master using 10 unique treasures and sealed in a cold place for a decade to purify her spirit energy. After hearing her story, Ying wonders how strong she really is. Ling reveals that her cultivation level is extremely high, but how long she can stay summoned depends on her master's level. So if Ying wants to release her full ability, he must reach the early stage of the Ascendant Soul Realm. Ling adds that she can eliminate a cultivator at the core formation stage, but doing so would unleash energy like a nuclear explosion, and he would never see her again. Ying immediately tells her he'll never use her for something like that. However, something still bothers him. Ying explains that he possesses more powerful spirit energy than Mizu, yet he's still considered weak. Ling explains to him that a cultivator's strength comes from the essence of heaven and earth, transforming into spirit energy, while Ying's power comes from an external source. She notices that Ying hasn't yet recognized his own spirit energy, which means he can't fully use it in battle because he gets too nervous. So, she decides to help him reveal it. Suddenly, Ling undresses Ying's shirt and hugs him from behind, beginning her spiritual guidance. Ying feels warmth spreading through his stomach like a small explosion. He squirms as it feels ticklish, which confuses Ling, but he insists it's nothing, so she continues her tutorial. They sit together, and Ling rubs his stomach again, urging him to stay calm and steady to summon his spirit energy. This time, Ying breathes deeply and focuses. When he opens his eyes, he snaps his fingers, and glowing spirit energy flares around him. Ying feels powerful, but Ling tells him he'll only be able to use his spirit energy skillfully after about 10 years of training. Still, she offers another way to help him level up faster by infusing her own spirit energy into him, but she warns him that the process will be painful. Ying doesn't care about pain and immediately tells her to do it. Then, Ling sits behind him and channels her power into his body. Ying feels a sharp, searing pain like his head is being split open, but he endures it, thinking about Yui and Mizu's struggles, convincing himself that this pain is nothing compared to theirs. Hours pass before the process ends, and Ling is impressed that Ying never screamed once through the entire ordeal. As they both stand, the glowing air around them begins to calm, but before they can celebrate, a massive tree spirit suddenly attacks them. But with a single blow, Ying easily defeats the tree spirit, which confuses him because he doesn't know that he can do such a thing. Then, Ling informs him that he can utilize the transferring of spirit energy to use the low-level art he already had beforehand. Before Ling can congratulate him, Ying goes to celebrate by himself, flying with his wings and screaming in pure happiness. Ying wonders why there is a tree spirit, so Ling explains that she has been living there for so long, and she still doesn't know the secret of the Hun Shin beads. But she knows that there were a lot of spirits in ancient times, when the concentration of spirits was far beyond that of the outside world. Ying quietly wonders why the spirits have disappeared, which makes him feel that something significant must have happened in the past to cause their disappearance. Suddenly, Ying gets a call from Mizu, who asks him to come back and prepare for the big battle. Ying is shocked when Mizu takes him to a spicy shop, since he thought Mizu wanted to go to a cultivator shop. Ling is confused about what that is, so Ying explains that a spicy shop is a shop that sells magical items used by elder cultivators. Ying and the others go inside, where the landlady tells the staff to amuse them. The staff plays some music and tries to tease them because they are inside a spicy shop. But suddenly, Mizu breaks a laptop to show that she is a cultivator, and she throws a golden diamond card because she wants to meet the boss, so the staff let her through. Ying and Ling also want to go in, but the staff won't let them because they are not on Mizu's level. Mizu then gives Ying a bag of money so he can look around the shop, and Ying is surprised when he sees that Mizu has given him a bag of spirit stones. The staff notice that he has a lot of money, so one of them immediately approaches Ying and starts showing him things. The staff tells Ying that they have magical equipment, which catches his interest. Just then, Ying sees a magical cloak that he thinks could make him fly, but the staff reveals that the cloak can actually protect him from anything. Ying is taken aback by how expensive it is, so he decides to leave and save the spirit stones for Mizu instead. The staff realize that Ying is an idiot who doesn't understand the true value of the spirit stones, so they come up with an idea. The staff tells Ying that he has a chance to get high rewards, which makes him interested. They explain that he could use his spirit stones to buy a gamble stone that might make him rich. After hearing this, Ying agrees to give it a try, not realizing that the staff are tricking him. Meanwhile, Mizu's golden diamond card is being checked by the boss, and the boss knows he only gave that card to the Cultivation Lee family 100 years ago. Mizu says she wants the most magical item in the shop, but the boss warns her that it will cost her the card. Mizu doesn't mind, so the boss goes to retrieve it for her. The staff is worried that the boss will give away their most powerful item, but the boss knows it isn't useful anymore because only someone below the nascent soul level can use it. The boss tells the staff that the shop will be closing soon, so he has to sell off his magical items since he knows there are even greater treasures out there. Then, the staff show Ying and Ling a room full of gambling boxes, and they explain that whatever they choose, it won't harm them. Ying wants to pick one, but Ling insists on choosing because she can see inside the boxes. Ying still decides to look for one himself, which makes the staff start to shake nervously, afraid he might pick the jackpots on the boxes. Suddenly, Ying asks Ling which one she would choose, and he decides to pick the same one she does, so the staff immediately opens it with a key and reveals that Ying has won a rusted dagger. The staff sighs in relief, and Ying is disappointed that he got a rusted dagger, but he moves on. After Ying and the others leave, the staff immediately reports to her boss that she managed to make a profit by selling a gambling box. When she reveals that Ying got a rusted dagger, the boss gets a nosebleed, because that rusted dagger is actually extremely valuable. Later, Yui pays her master, Huang, a visit and tells him that she has failed her mission to distract Ying and Mizu. Huang feels that Yui has conspired with the enemy and plans to eliminate him, but Yui denies the accusation. Huang reminds her that the old man cleaning around the school was actually him, and he has been observing everything she's done, which makes her furious. Huang doesn't expect what comes next, but he's glad he's been stalking her, because Yui betraying him is where he draws the line. Suddenly, Wang blasts her with a beam, but Yui manages to dodge it and runs away. Wang likes that Yui wants to turn this into a game of chase, so he decides to end their master and student relationship, as it's the perfect ending in his eyes. Meanwhile, Mizu sees that Ying has bought a dagger for himself, and Ying tells her that Ling was the one who chose it. Suddenly, Ling reveals that the dagger has a dragon spirit inside it after a master once fought a dragon and sealed its soul within the dagger, making its blood extremely corrosive. Ling reveals that the master in question was Chuanji, and he was the one who eliminated the red dragon, which makes Ying realize how valuable the weapon is. Ying can't wait to summon the dragon and use it to bite Wang's head off, but then she explains that the dragon is actually a yoge beast, meaning it is extremely hostile toward humans, and it would only cause more trouble for him. Ling tells them that she can't summon the dragon, which makes the dagger seem worthless, but she still knows that the dagger is a magical treasure, so she wants Ying to inject his spirit energy into it to see what happens. Ying immediately tries it, and suddenly, he summons 2 more versions of himself. Mizu isn't impressed by the dagger's power, but even Ling can't tell which one is the real Ying, despite her strong cultivation sense. Ying plays around with the dagger, enjoying himself, which confuses Mizu, who doesn't understand how he can now use spirit energy with ease. As he explains to Mizu that Ling was the one who helped him, Ying receives a message from Yui, who warns him that Wang knows about their plan and that he intends to eliminate them, so they must meet at the designated location. Ying immediately tells Mizu about Yui's warning and rushes to leave, but Mizu stops him, saying that she has a gift for him. Mizu presents to Ying her most prized possession, her necklace, which is to protect him. Before Ying leaves, he promises Mizu that he will return in one piece for her. As he flies toward Yui, Ying knows he must protect Mizu no matter what. Meanwhile, Yui continues running from Huang, who is right on her tail. Yui feels certain that Huang has been planning to eliminate her ever since he took her as a student, and Huang doesn't deny her accusations, even admitting that she is right. He explains that ever since he accepted her, he has been planning to clap her dead once she reached the core formation stage, so he could use her to advance his own cultivation. Yui blasts him with fire, but he easily blocks it, which makes her furious. Meanwhile, Ying and the others know they must form a plan before fighting Huang, or they'll lose instantly. Mizu tells them that they must find a way to activate the array, which is their only key to victory. Ying understands and prepares to act, but deep inside, he has a bad feeling. Yui keeps running, but Huang finally traps her inside a wall of fire. Yui knows that she can't escape this, so she decides to fight him to the death, even if her chances of survival are as slim as you losers' chances of getting laid. But just as Huang is about to send her off to the afterlife, Ying pops up and knocks him away. Huang sees that he used Naruto's jutsu to create 2 Yings and is impressed. But as Ying begins explaining what he did, Huang cuts him off and blasts him with fire, but Yui and Mizu manage to shield Ying. Their shields shatter, and Ying realizes they must attack Huang together. Ying charges with his clones, but Huang defeats them effortlessly. Then Yui, Mizu, and one of Ying's clones unleash blasts at him, forcing Huang to protect himself inside a fiery bubble shield. Mizu and Yui notice how strong he is, and they know that they must find his weakness. All the while Huang is amused by their desperation. Ying tries to strike with his flame fist, but gets overpowered. Mizu and Yui attack next, but Huang knocks them down with ease. Seeing that Huang's core formation power is too great, Ying decides to use his dagger, the one containing the dragon. As Huang charges at him, Ying summons the dagger and strikes, breaking through Huang's shield and making him bleed. Ying sees that the dagger works, so he points it at Huang and declares that it's time for him to accept his death. Huang sees that he has a cut across his chest and face, which makes him furious as Ying starts mocking him as an old prune. Huang immediately chokes Ying, but it turns out to be just another clone. Suddenly, Ying attacks from behind, and Huang dodges but still takes another cut to the chest. Ying steps back and calls Huang slow, signaling his friends to prepare. Before Ying fights Huang, Ling reveals that Ying's clone ability is incredible, as she can't even tell which one is real. But she reveals that there's a problem, and that problem is that Ying's clones can't survive for more than 2 hours. However, Ying discovers something astonishing, that he can choose one of his clones to receive his soul, effectively transferring himself into it. Mizu and Ling are shocked, realizing that Ying could fight without putting himself in danger, and Ying sees this as their key to victory, so he tells them to push the dagger's power to its limit. Huang realizes that the dagger's power allows Ying to clone himself, and he confronts him about his plan, letting Huang attack first so Ying can strike from behind. Ying calls him a clever man, but Huang suddenly unleashes a fiend art, a dark vortex that drains their spirit energy and dries their blood. Yui thinks this is the end since none of them can move, but Ying manages to summon Ling, who instantly shuts down Huang's fiend art, leaving him stunned. He demands to know who she is, but Ling refuses to answer, saying he isn't qualified to know. She then tells Ying to run, while she creates a shield to protect them from Huang's attacks. Ling wants to eliminate Huang since he refuses to surrender, while Huang doesn't know who this busty hoe is, but doesn't care, as he fully believes that he can break free easily. However, he soon realizes Ling isn't fighting while Ying and the others are nearby, which makes him suspect she has a limitation. Huang notices that Ling is prioritizing their protection, confirming that she truly intends to end him. Ling orders Ying to leave, claiming she can handle Huang alone, and Huang senses Ling's powerful cultivation, but also notices she needs time to build her defensive array. As Ying and the others retreat, Huang fires a beam at them, but Ying manages to escape first. He hides in a forest, giving Ling time to teleport back into his mind. Once Ling returns, Ying tells the others that they need to come up with a plan to defeat Huang. He realizes they should set a trap since Huang wouldn't expect it in his current state, but Huang quickly tracks them down and corners them. Just as he's about to strike, Ying and Mizu dodge, creating an opening for Yui to activate her flame array and trap Huang. They feel relieved, believing they've finally defeated him. But suddenly, Huang breaks free with ease, shocking them all. Huang reveals that he knows Yui was the one who stole his fiend art and learned his powers. But what she doesn't know is that he changed the fiend art, making it fake. Yui recalls the version she took and realizes that it doesn't weaken Huang, but instead, it actually strengthens him. Huang admits he's been pretending to be weak all along, using the deception to grow even more powerful. He boasts that he altered the fiend art to absorb spirit energy from others, allowing him to reach the late stage of core formation. Mizu is horrified and shouts for everyone to run. She and Yui manage to flee, enraging Huang, who refuses to let them escape. Just as he's about to give chase, Ying summons Ling again to block his path. Ling restrains Huang, preventing him from pursuing his prey. Furious and trapped, Huang realizes that he must use his last resort to escape Ling. He calls out Yui's name loudly, which immediately catches her attention, while Mizu warns Yui not to stop running, knowing Huang is trying to manipulate her. But Huang has already invaded her mind, whispering that he knows the truth about the slaughter of her village. Yui freezes in shock. She can't believe what she's just heard. About 2 decades ago, Huang chased a snake spirit because he wanted her core. He pursues her to a village known as Sidi, where he accidentally sees a girl being bullied. That girl manages to defeat the bullies, which makes Huang realize that she is already in the late stage of Kai consideration, a rare spirit root. Huang knows he must use her to remedy his terrible intelligence, so he forms a plan. He disguises himself as an old man filled with knowledge, impressing the people and earning their trust. One day, he sees the girl walking alone, so he tries calling out to her, but she refuses him. Enraged, he disguises himself as the snake spirit and slaughters the girl's entire village. Then, he uses a magical grass that drives Yaoguai insane. The girl believes the snake spirit destroyed her village, so she seeks revenge but cannot achieve it alone. She goes to Huang for help, and he immediately agrees, offering her a knife. With that blade, the girl eliminates the snake spirit in exchange for becoming Huang's student. That day, Huang laughs hysterically because not only does he gain Yui, but he also acquires a nourishing super spirit root and a snake spirit orb. Yui is heartbroken when she learns the truth. Tears fill her eyes, and rage consumes her as she vows revenge and sets out to butcher Huang to pieces. Ying sees Yui flying toward Huang and tells Mizu he will help her because he knows it is a trap, unwilling to let him go alone. Mizu joins the fight. Yui attacks first, slashing her fire blade to break Huang's shield, but Huang easily knocks her back, only to be shocked when Ying's dagger pierces his chest. Ying tells Huang that while Yui may fall easily into traps, Huang's overconfidence made him careless. He explains that while Yui attacked, he used a controlling art on his dagger, allowing it to move on its own and stab Huang. Furious, Huang vows to show Ying what true control art looks like. Meanwhile, Zhao lounges inside a private jet, sipping wine and grimacing at its new bland taste. He orders his butler to serve an older bottle, claiming it's superior. Suddenly, the plane begins to shake violently. Chio frowns, thinking something blocks their path, but the butler reminds him they're flying in the sky. Then, they watch in horror as the pilot jumps out with a parachute. The pilot shouts that he's lost control of the plane and that it will crash in minutes. He adds that he doesn't get paid enough, and he still wants to get some cheeks before he dies. Panic erupts as Zhao and the butler scramble as turbulence rocks the cabin. The butler spots a server wearing a parachute and lunges at him, trying to force him to give it to Zhao, but the turbulence knocks him back, giving the server a chance to leap out of the plane. The butler then spots another parachute nearby and grabs it for Zhao, just in time. At the same moment, Mizu senses the falling plane and flies toward it. fearing that Huang's magic might be behind it. As the plane plummets, the butler manages to latch onto Xiao in midair, saving him from certain death. Mizu lands atop the spiraling plane and channels divine power. She begins invoking heaven's punishment, a trial every cultivator must endure to ascend to the next level. Meanwhile, Huang is trying to control the plane so he can yeet it at Ying, but his concentration breaks when he sees Mizu enduring heaven's punishment mid-battle. Realizing she might possess the rare spirit root, he becomes both greedy and fearful. He realizes that if he absorbs her spirit, he believes he can reach the late stage of core formation. Mizu's fury burns bright. She attacks Huang with divine wrath, forcing him to dodge and causing the plane to crash into the mountains below. As the storm rages, Mizu thanks Huang ironically for helping her surpass heaven's punishment, before she turns to destroy him. But while she's occupied with the divine trial, Huang captures one of her lightning bolts. Ying yells for her to be careful, but it's too late, as Huang hurls the lightning back at Mizu, striking her unconscious. Ying rushes to carry her away, but finds himself cornered. In desperation, he screams with all his strength. Suddenly, the necklace Mizu once gave him begins to glow. Huang prepares to finish them both off with another bolt, but Ying grabs Mizu's sword and thrusts it forward with all of his might. And Huang feels blood. It turns out that Ying and Mizu managed to cut off Huang's arm, which drives him into a furious rage. Huang has had enough. Huang quickly activates his blood absorption ability, drawing blood and energy from Ying and the others. They grow weaker by the second as their strength drains away. Ling rushes to protect them, but she warns Ying that she can't hold out much longer, as his energy is fading too fast. Ying tells her to return inside him, saying he will deal with Huang alone. Enraged, Huang uses his control art on Ying's dagger, slashing his arm. Then he seizes Mizu, dragging her close because she was the one who cut off his arm. Holding Mizu in his grasp weakens Ying further, knowing that any wrong move could cost Mizu her life. A sharp cracking sound echoes through the air. Mizu's body hits the ground as Huang throws her aside. Ying roars in anger and charges at Huang, but Huang blocks his attacks effortlessly. Having failed to avenge the snake spirit, Yui cries in despair nearby. But then Ying remembers how the dragon's blood is highly corrosive, and seeing Mizu motionless on the ground, an idea sparks in his mind. He calls out to her, telling her to wait because he will return after defeating Huang. He grips his dagger tightly and flies toward Huang, but then he deliberately cuts his own hand, allowing Huang to absorb his blood. Huang grins, feeling power surge back into him, until he realizes something is wrong. Ying's hair begins to lengthen as he summons the dragon within, and the blood flowing from him is not ordinary, but instead, it's the dragon's blood, which is deadly and corrosive. Huang's body starts to sizzle and corrode from the inside. Panicking, he cancels his blood absorption and focuses on healing himself, giving Yui time to rise again. Yui seizes the moment and attacks, her sword flashing toward Huang. He dodges and hurls her to the ground. Ying lunges forward at Huang, and out of pure desperation, Huang summons all his power and stops Ying with a massive rock. He breathes heavily, thinking he's safe, until Ying breaks free and slashes his chest, cutting him down. Huang screams madly as his body collapses. He curses them, warning that they will live in fear because the elder will come for revenge. Then his body disintegrates, and Yui breathes a sigh of relief, happy to finally avenge her family, her village, and her old friend, the snake spirit. Ying walks to Mizu's side, but then a deep, rumbling voice echoes and the elder reveals itself as a giant eye floating in the air. It tells Ying that it is impressed he noticed its presence. Ying admits he has always sensed someone watching them, and he demands that the elder help him save Mizu, who is dying. The elder seems amused and asks why it should help him. Ying replies that he possesses the Hunshin beads, the treasure the elder desires. The elder calls him a fool, saying that Mizu can be revived only if she still has a spark of life within her, and it claims that it can revive or destroy her at will, but agrees to help Ying. However, it demands that as part of his deal, he visit its realm, a space far beyond his world. The elder refuses to reveal its exact location, saying higher beings forbid it, but it gives Ying 3 years to fulfill his deal of returning the Hunshin beads to its domain in trade of Mizu's life. Then, the elder vanishes. Its voice echoes one last time, telling him to prepare, as they will revive Mizu soon. Meanwhile, Zhao and his butler survive the plane crash. Zhao cries over his destroyed jet, until his butler reminds him that he can easily buy another one. Zhao blinks in surprise at how cheap that sounds and decides to go home. The butler carries him, and Zhao laughs as he feels the wind rushing past, his first time through the air. Later, Mizu takes Ying somewhere while he's wearing blindfold, and he feels nervous. Scared that she might cream him this way, she teases him, telling him to go home if he's scared. But Ying admits he isn't afraid, just worried something might attack and harm her. Blushing, Mizu grabs his hand and pulls him along. Then, when it's time for Ying to remove his blindfold, he finds himself standing in a peaceful park. Mizu smiles, explaining that her mother used to bring her here for picnics and taught her many things, including how to choose a good husband. She begins teasing Ying playfully, hinting that they can start bumping bellies on the grass. Suddenly, Mizu draws her sword and challenges him to a duel. Ying hesitates, thinking she means something entirely different, something maybe freaky. When she realizes that he wants to expand her pum-pum, she blushes deeper and tells him he could have just asked if that's what he wanted. Then, she rests her head against his chest, as he promises never to let anything endanger her again. Completely rizzed up, Mizu looks up at him and suddenly kisses him, stealing his first kiss. Later, Zhao meets a girl and takes her home. As they pass through the street, he sees Mizu holding hands with Ying, and his heart and balls sink in disappointment. Meanwhile, Yui returns to her village and bows her head in gratitude, thanking her people, her ancestors, and the spirits that guided her home. If you watched this anime recap until the end, comment down below Cultivate the Cheeks, and if you love anime recaps like this, watch this video.